What's up, y'all? We're back for a review of Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 16, episode 5. Now, before we jump into things, you already know what to do. Go ahead and scan that QR code to get connected to me, or click the link in my description to get directly to me. All right, y'all, so let's get into it. Now, in the first scene, we get Shamia, and she invites over Angela and Brittany. And basically, they discuss what happened the night at Angela's party. So, Angela starts off by saying straight up that she got backlash from the owner because of Brittany over there talking about pistols and whips and chains and things like that. And basically, Brittany tries to explain herself, and she starts by saying that, well, we find out for one that Brittany did not ask the question of why are you mean to Brit, or why don't you like Brittany, whatever. Angela is the one who actually asked the question. Basically, Brittany tries to explain herself by saying that Kenya was cutting her off and that made her react, but she would never intentionally hurt Kenya. Basically, it's all just words. And Shamia and Angela are telling her, well, you need to talk to Kenya and tell her that like you don't mean those things that you said. I feel like they honestly really downplay it. What she said was very threatening and was very serious, and I'm glad because in the next scene we get Kenya, and it's Kenya, Portia, and Kelly. They're at her hair salon, and at first they show the models who are going to be, I guess, featuring maybe some of the products or certain hairstyles. They come walk out in front of them, and then the girls go away and they talk about the incident that happened. And Portia honestly is the only one who held Brittany accountable, because she literally is sitting there and is like, no, what she said was threatening. That was not okay. That was not cool. Like, you can't sit up here talking about pistols and guns and think everything's going to be okay. Kelly was trying to defend Brittany by saying, oh, I've never seen her act like this, blah, blah, blah. And Kenya's like, basically, like, I don't care. Like, when you say something as serious as that, like, you got to take that very serious. And she's like, I need to do a background check on her. And I do not blame her, because at the end of the day, Brittany and Kenya do not know each other. Kenya does not know that girl at all. She is a newcomer on the show. And in this day and age, people are crazy. We don't know what people are going to do. So just because she may not act that way in front of Kelly, don't mean she could pop off at Kenya. So I agree with both of them. So in the next scene, we get Angela and her daughter Amari. They're at a coffee shop and they're catching up. We get a little bit of background information about their relationship. So Amari is her oldest daughter, as we know, but her dad unfortunately was murdered when she was 7. So Angela says that they have a very close relationship because of that. So the reason why they're sitting down talking, for one, the grandma was supposed to show up. She did not show up, and she plays a major part in this because basically, according to Amari, she got into it with Angela's sister, and the sister got into her face, and this was an argument over money. And the daughter was telling Angela this and was like, I don't understand, after her getting up in my face, why you would still support, your grandma, or not your grandma, your mom and your sister financially. Now, for one, Angela did not know the situation, and she definitely did not know how bad the situation got. And she told her at the end of the day, I'm always gonna, have your back. But at the same time, she's not going to cut them off. Like, it's just not that easy. Another thing that we find out too is that she got married and she did not tell Angela. And Angela was very hurt and she started crying. And she was like, you were married and I found out 4 months later. And the daughter asked, well, how'd you find out? And she was like, your grandmother told me. And she was like, wow, so they threw me under the bus. So I guess Amari used to live with the grandma and the sister. Angela bought a house for her mom and sister, so all under one roof. But because of the whole situation, she ended up leaving. My thing is, if they're so close, why did she not tell you that she got married? I just think that's weird. Like, she told the grandma, but she's not going to tell you, and y'all supposed to be super close. Like, clearly there's some dynamics there. And even when she was confronting her about it, the daughter started getting like, you could tell she was getting upset. And instead of continuing on the conversation, she just basically ended it and was like, okay, like, we're getting upset, we're crying, like, like, basically just brushed it off. I wanted them to continue it because I'm like, wait, what's going on? Like, I'm confused because the daughter didn't see no problem in not telling her mom that she got married. She's like, well, it already happened. Like, that's in the past. Like, okay. So in the next scene, we get Portia and we get Brittany. They meet up to have some cocktails. And in this scene, Brittany actually takes full accountability for what she did to Kenya. She literally says that she would apologize for threatening Kenya. She doesn't want Kenya to feel threatened. And she basically gives us a little background of how she truly feels about Kenya. She just feels like, based on Kenya's tone, her being condescending, and her just, being very snarky, that she was being attacked solely by Kenya. And Portia was saying, I mean, she doesn't treat Kelly like that. She doesn't treat the other girls like that. Like, why do you think it's only you? And then she explains to her that, maybe she has these preconceived notions of Kenya. Basically, she's been a fan of the show watching. And since she's seen how Kenya moves, she automatically is already kind of in defense mode. And Brittany agrees with her, like, yes, like those preconceived notions that she has of Kenya and that she knows of her, being, and in the way she was talking to her, she just felt like she kept attacking her. Portia even clarified with the whole ring comment that none of them even thought it was shady at all. They just really thought Kenya was asking a question. So that shows you right there, just a little bit of communication can really alter what the true meaning is, because she thinks Kenya is like this mean girl to her and being snarky, but whole time Kenya don't even care. And the next scene, we get Angela and Charles, and Angela's getting ready to prepare for Kenya's whole event. And she starts basically telling Charles the slick comment that Portia made it at him at her dinner. Because you know how Portia was like, "Ooh, I heard some things about Charles," and then basically wasn't trying to speak on it after. Charles is basically like, "I don't know her. She don't know me." He gets like really defensive, but honestly defensive to the point where it felt like he actually knows Portia, and maybe there's some truth to what Portia said. Because if he really was unbothered, he would have been like, "Okay, whatever. Like, I don't know her, boom, drop it." But he kind of was like going on for a little bit, and I'm like, dang, for someone who says that he don't know her and she don't know him, why are you this defensive? And then after that, she was talking to him about her family problems with her sister and her mom, and he basically did not care. He's like, just get over it. Like, I stay out of family business. Like, dang, like he's just super rude. Super rude to the point, always in the kitchen cooking. And then the next scene, we basically get little cameos of everyone getting ready for Kenya's event. Kenya looks gorgeous. She's getting her hair done. She has the big curly hair going on. We get Shamia, she pulls up. We get Cynthia, she pulls up. Then we get Portia, she pulls up next. We get a scene with Kelly and not Kelly and Shamia. We get a scene with Kelly and Brittany. They pull up together, and Brittany has a whole box of, or a whole thing of like white roses, white flowers for Kenya, her apology flowers. So this is going to be very awkward. I do feel like Brittany maybe should have apologized in advance before she came to the event, but at the same time, maybe she didn't have Kenya's number. Maybe she wanted to make a positive scene in front of everybody and wanted the girls to actually see her apologizing. So in the next scene, we get Kenya and her grand opening of her event. We get this scene where it's kind of like, if you guys are familiar with the Bronner brothers, how they had like the little hair show. She basically has like a mini hair show with her models, and they come out and they have these different hairstyles and costumes. It was really cool. And they have like a contest, and basically just have the hair show to display the different designs. And then now let's get into the tea. So we get Cynthia and Shamia and Portia. They're sitting there at the show, and Cynthia's trying to figure out what happened at this dinner. Portia's explaining the whole Brittany and the pistol and whip and chain situation of it all. They're wondering if she's even coming to the event, and they're thinking that Brittany's not going to even show up. Little do they know, she's literally on the way. So then we get Kelly and Brittany in the car, and they're on the way right into the event. That's when Brittany tells us that she just had an aunt who passed away from a stroke. So between the aunt passing away from the stroke and the whole can situation, her emotions are just been through the roof. But she did admit once again, and I will say she is taking full accountability. She admitted to Kelly, like, I did too much. I can admit that. Like, let's try to smooth things over, hopefully with these flowers that she brought. Now, a good point that Shamia made at the event, she literally was talking to the girls and she was saying that what if Kenya's not open right now to receiving an apology? And Portia made a good point. Portia literally said, yeah, right now Kenya's in the revenge stage. She's not in the accepting stage of it all. And we get a little scene with Kenya and Angela in the back. And Kenya is thanking Angela because she said that after the night that, she got threatened, Angela was the only person to text her and to reach out to see how she was doing. And she really appreciated that. And Angela told her, like, yes, like, I'm on your side. Like, I understand where you're coming from. So in the next scene, we are still at this event, and we now get Drew coming up to Portia, trying to confront Portia again in front of everybody. I just don't understand. So she comes up to Portia and she was trying to well, at first she comes up and she gives hugs to everybody, and then she tries to give a hug to Portia, and Portia's like, skirt, like, not all up in my face. And basically, she then starts talking to her like, I just want to come to you and have a conversation about Dennis. Like, why would I be trying to mess with Dennis? And I'm going through a divorce. And Portia's just not here for it at all. They kind of bicker back and forth a little bit. And I like how Portia tells her too. She's like, it's just common sense. Like, let's use common sense. You can call me, you can text me and have a conversation. Here goes Drew. We're having a conversation right now. Like, why do you feel the need to confront this and do this in front of everybody when you can literally have a one-on-one scene? Y'all meet up, go to dinner, get drinks like everybody else does. This is why I do not like Drew, because Drew knows exactly what she's doing, and Drew really do be lying. And Portia just ends up walking away from it all and just basically pays her dust, because it's like, I'm not about to go back and forth with you here and talk about this in front of everybody. Literally, you got all the girls in the background looking, and this is at this whole event too. That's for Kenya. Like, no. So then we have Brittany. Her and Kelly finally arrive. Brittany has her flowers and she walks up to Kenya and she tries to apologize to her, and Kenya literally ignores her, like, pays her dust, like, literally walks by her as if she did not see her, starts talking to everybody else, just literally just pays her dust. And Brittany's literally like, well, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and leave. Like, I tried the best I could. Yeah, you really did try the best. So then Kenya stands up in front of everybody and she starts making this speech about this salon, how she worked hard for it and worked hard for the salon for her daughter. And then she tells somebody to get the flowers that Brittany bought her and give them to the homeless, and to burn the card that came with it because it's fake. And she starts going on in this speech about how people try to steal her joy and steal her shine. So Kenya is continuing her speech. And then she gets on the topic of Brittany. And she talks about how she had her researchers, her people, whoever, do some research. She pulls out a postcard and it's Brittany. There's pictures of Brittany on there, the first one. And it has pictures of her before her surgery and after her surgery. Okay. Then she pulls out a second card and she was like, and then I had them do more research, and she was a video O, you know. And I'm guessing it was like a still what's it called? Not still pic, but a screenshot of one of her pictures from her video days. At this point in time, Kelly then gets up and leaves. And Kelly's like, I just don't understand. This is a beautiful event for, like, all your hard work. Why are you making this now about Brittany? Like, I'm not about to sit here and let her slander my friend. Like, no. Y'all, she then pulls out the third postcard, and it is a picture of Brittany giving fellatio. And literally, you hear in the room the like, everyone is just shocked and stunned. There's even some a little laughter. And it ends with Kenya being like, and this is why I don't let people play with me. And it's just like, are you serious? At that point in time, Portia gets up and leaves, and Angela gets up and leaves as well, and so does Shamia. And they walk outside and they're visibly upset. They look like they're literally about to cry. And the one thing I just don't understand is, like, I forgot who said it in their confessional, but it's like, no, it was Portia. Like, you worked so hard for this. Like, this is your bread and butter. You've put in blood, sweat, and tears into this grand opening and having this shop just for you to make it all about Brittany and end it with you showing her giving fellatio. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, that's too far. And like Shamia said, I don't know if I already repeated it, but it's one thing showing or saying you have receipts, but actually showing them and at a public event, like, that is insane. I literally don't understand Kenya's mindset. And the craziest part is Kenya saw nothing wrong with it. Literally, one of the girls said, "No, that's too far." And she's like, "No, that girl threatened me." Like, what? Like, yes, she was wilding and she said some threats, but the girl also did come and apologize with flowers to you as well. But that did not, so that just shows you right there. She literally, like, Kenya's a mean girl. We've been known she's a mean girl, but to me it's just so stupid. Like, that was literally your moment to celebrate you, and you turned it into something like mean and like evil. Like, that's, it's just really weird, honestly. After that, it shows the writing on the screen, and it's like, due to the nature of this, blah blah blah, we cease filming with Kenya. This is why Kenya basically got kicked off. And honestly, she was right to get kicked off, because why would you do that? Like, that's crazy. But that's the end of this review. If you like this review, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.